Welcome to Out of the Hills. I'm Jon Wright. We're at Taylor Farm in Londonderry, Vermont, and my guest today is Andy Bliss from Andover. How are you doing, Andy?
Good.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We're going to talk a little bit about your history. You've been with me here at Taylor Farm we keep going through this, but I think you've been here about 20 years now, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so.
And tell me a little bit about East Hill Farm and your family up in Andover.
Okay.
Your dad started a school.
Yeah.
And what was the name of the school?
East Hill.
And do you remember what year he started that? Was that in the early 60s?
1966.
66, yeah. And how many students were at the school?
I think there were over 30 anyway.
Uh-huh. And how long did the school keep running?
Till the 89.
Mm-hmm.
That's when he died.
Your dad died in 89?
Yeah. June.
Uh-huh. And then your brother continued to run the school for a little bit, right?
Yeah. In a couple of years later.
Uh-huh.
For 4 years.
He ran it for 4 years.
And then they stopped.
Uh-huh. Let's go back a little bit. Your father, if I remember this correctly,
Yeah.
started the school sort of for you.
Yeah. For me and Johnny.
Yeah. As an alternative education system.
Yeah.
And tell me about the school. You did lots of things like music, dancing, farming. You had a milk cow.
Yeah. I mean, more than one.
Uh-huh. You produced a lot of food for the school.
Yeah.
Right?
We did.
You had big gardens.
Big gardens. Now we're cut way back
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
on the garden.
And students would help with the gardens.
Yeah.
You had some day students and some boarding students. Right?
Boarding for the winter
Uh-huh.
and some day students.
And you had cabins back
Yeah.
in the woods where the boarding students could stay.
Yeah.
And they had wood stoves.
Yeah.
They had to heat their cabins.
Yeah.
It was pretty primitive
Yeah.
lifestyle,
Yeah.
but a pretty wonderful school environment. What sort of things did you work on? Didn't you build a boat at one time?
I did.
Who helped you with the boat?
Guy who was our boat was the captain of our schooner. He helped me with it.
And
Started me on a dinghy, and then somebody else started me with the bigger boat.
Tell me about that. Your father had a schooner,
Yeah.
and you take students out
Yeah.
sailing
Yeah.
during the summer?
Yeah, and that was spring to through the fall.
Mm-hmm. And where was the schooner kept?
Up in Maine.
What was the name of the harbor?
It was at the captain's father's place up in Damershire, Maine.
Uh-huh.
Outside of that
Uh-huh.
town.
How many summers would you go up there and sail?
Well, in the fall, just our family went
Mm-hmm.
with a couple with the bosun and then a couple, and then the captain who also taught at the farm.
Mm-hmm.
So
And how many students would go up with you during the summer?
we probably took, well, it swept 6.
So you'd go out on the water and
Yeah.
you'd stay out there with students?
Yeah, for at least a week or two
Wow.
at a time.
So your family was pretty good
Yeah,
sailors. Your father was a good sailor.
yeah,
And your mom went with you on these
Yeah.
trips? Was she the head cook and bottle washer?
I don't know. Everybody.
Everybody chipped in.
Yeah.
That was a big element of the school, was
Yeah.
communal living, cooperation.
Yeah.
And do you have any particularly funny memories of going to school there? Or
No.
how about, were there any, I know some students, I want to see if you and I come up with some of the
Yeah.
same names. Who are some students that went there that are still in our community, people that are around here now?
Amnins
The Amadons, right? Will and Donnie.
and Josie,
Josie went there for a little while.
and a friend of Will's, Ian Martin.
Ian Martin, right?
Those only ones from Londonderry.
Yeah. And what about some people down Manchester way?
Noel,
Noel Dido.
No Dido.
Did Noel smoke a pipe back
Yeah.
when he was going to? He did?
Yeah.
When he was at East Hill? That's where he started smoking?
I don't know if he started there, but
You know, he always has a corncob pipe in his mouth now.
Yeah. He
Remember,
did that.
Noel was here about 6 summers ago helping us
Yeah.
put up the barn with his crane.
Yeah.
And what's another? Who are some other people? How about Peter Moore?
Peter Moore was there at the same time.
What does Peter do now?
Mason
Uh-huh.
makes Russian fireplaces.
And did he learn any of those skills at East Hill, do you think?
Learned the masonry.
Did he? Yeah. And he continued to do it his whole life.
Yeah.
That's pretty remarkable.
And all the Tingley Law and all those people were there
Mm-hmm.
from Manchester.
Mm-hmm. Who were some of the people that were involved in the school early on? You have some Mennonite friends who still come up.
Yeah, Ward and Beery, those clan there.
And they came up as young.
He came up, Ward came up when he was in the service with Eddie Wright
And where does Ward live now?
in Dayton, Virginia.
Virginia. And he's a Mennonite
Yeah,
and a dairy farmer.
yeah. He was. He's retired completely.
And his daughter's taken over the farm now, right?
Yeah,
Down there.
but
Yeah.
she built a new house on Ward's sister's place off that land.
Mm-hmm. How long was Ward a teacher at the school?
I think 2 summers and 1 winter.
Uh-huh. And what was he teaching?
Different,
Carpentry?
yeah.
Math? Did he teach math?
I don't know about that, but he taught carpentry.
So what were some of the skills that were being taught at East Hill? I think it's remarkable that
Yeah,
you had blacksmithing,
yeah.
you had a wood shop,
Wood shop,
you did boat building.
boat building. That was later. That's when somebody else came from Massachusetts, Connecticut.
What about Nick Patch? Where did he fit into all that?
He came from Weston.
Uh-huh.
He came to help me at one point on the boat, and then other house stuff
Uh-huh.
on the farm.
Carpentry and
Yeah,
uh-huh. And Nick is another person who
yeah,
skills that he used at East Hill 40
Yeah.
years ago. Nick is still a boat builder today.
yeah, in Burlington.
I'm just what I'm getting at is how many of these people developed early skills
Yeah.
at East Hill Farm,
Yeah,
and many of them still have those occupations today.
yeah,
It was a very remarkable
yeah,
place that your father and mother
yeah.
created. And you had, what were some of the other programs there? You had a lot of music.
Music,
Did you ever play music yourself?
a little bit.
What, did you have a favorite instrument?
I don't remember
Uh-huh.
what.
Uh-huh. What was some of the other music there? You didn't you start each day with a dance?
Yeah, they danced and then
Sang?
sang and then got on with the day.
Uh-huh. And who were some of the good musicians there? Anybody come to mind?
I can't think
Can't think of who
who.
was there.
No.
Now, and you also did sugaring
Yeah,
on the farm.
yeah,
You had a milk cow.
yeah.
Did you ever work with draft horses? Did you?
No, just the one for the buggy.
Uh-huh.
Back before Johnny's wife came.
Mm-hmm. You
Back
had a horse and buggy,
Yeah,
and you cut your own firewood.
yeah. We've always did that.
A lot of your lifestyle up at
Yeah.
East Hill was sort of modeled after Mennonite or
Yeah,
Amish living,
yeah.
wasn't it? Was that influenced by Ward and
I
him
think so.
coming up? Yeah. And Ward and your father were
Yeah.
obviously good friends. How did they meet? Do you remember?
They met through Eddie Wright.
Through Eddie Wright. And Eddie met Ward through the service.
Yeah.
How interesting.
And he brung Ward up to a place to stay when they had a off period.
That's
And then
great.
he came back,
He liked it so much he came
Yeah.
back.
and then taught, and
Huh.
two summers and one winter.
Uh-huh.
And then his father died, so he had to go back.
Back to Virginia
Yeah.
to
and
run the farm.
Run the farm.
Interesting. And we said you had big gardens, and
Yeah.
you canned a lot of food. This was
Yeah.
all part of the learning experience, right?
Yeah.
You were living and learning.
Yeah.
You didn't necessarily sit in a classroom,
Yeah.
but you were more hands-on and more.
Yeah.
And this was, the school was really intended for students that didn't necessarily fit into a conventional school.
Or have problems with school
Right.
in other places.
Yeah. Did you ever have problems with students at East Hill?
I think one or two my father had a problem with.
Did he have to expel anybody, or?
Kicked at least one out, maybe two people.
Uh-huh. Just couldn't get along?
Yeah.
But by and large, it was a good
Yeah.
environment.
Yeah.
People liked
Yeah.
that type of learning experience.
Yeah.
And as I said, so many of them continue to this day to do the very things that
Yeah.
they learned up there at East Hill.
Yeah.
What's going on up at East Hill now? It's no longer a school.
No. We're still doing haying.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny just finished their haying. Just put the rest of the equipment away for the winter yesterday.
So you still sort of run a farm.
Yeah.
You have horses, no cows.
Yeah.
You have chickens.
Chickens.
Uh-huh. You cut all your own firewood.
Yeah.
And tell me a little bit about Johnny, your brother John.
He's working. They're building a apartment up above the machine shop. Now, his youngest daughter Emma is living there,
Mm-hmm.
and then when she ever moves out, they'll rent that
Mm-hmm.
upstairs.
And you've been famous for that. You have
Yeah.
little cottages that were left over from the school days
Yeah.
that you now
Rent
rent out.
at least two people.
Mm-hmm. That's great. I know a
Yeah.
lot of young people that have spent time at East Hill.
Like Brooke and
Gracie.
Grace.
Don't forget Gracie.
Yeah.
And tell me, what does, we were talking a little bit about Johnny, what does he do for work?
He does the church in Weston and does other things.
He's the minister.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you go to church?
Only on special occasions.
Right, you're not a regular.
No.
No. What does Johnny think of that?
He doesn't.
Would he like to see you there more regularly?
No.
No, he doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
But your mom goes pretty regularly, right?
Every church except for when he's off, when she doesn't like the person they get comes in,
Uh-huh.
so she separate.
She stays home on those days.
Yeah,
And Jon does a lot of work in the community. He
Yeah.
provides firewood for,
yeah.
uh,
He started the wood thing in Weston
uh
with the church.
and you help him with that.
I don't, but he has other people
They're community members that do.
of Weston.
Yeah. And does a lot of that wood come from East Hill Farm?
No,
Or you-
it was trucked in,
I see.
and they've been keeping it at the Priory at a place. Now they're getting another place, a real building.
Uh-huh.
They're building for the wood next year.
What do you see as a future for East Hill? Do you think there would ever be a school there again?
I don't know.
Would you like to see a school there?
I don't know.
Would you be one of the teachers, maybe?
I don't know.
No, not so much.
No.
Jon's busy with the church now. and-
Yeah.
But that was a very interesting time. A lot of very interesting people. The leaders
Yeah.
were up in that area,
Yeah.
and a lot of old hippies. Back to the
Yeah.
Landers, right?
Yeah.
Right. Do you miss that when it was an active school and there were a lot
No,
of people around?
I don't miss it.
You don't miss it.
No.
You like it kind of quiet
Yeah.
up there. What are some of the projects you'd like to see going on up there? Do you think you'd ever sugar up there again?
I don't know. I think we may have somebody coming in this winter to do sugaring.
Uh-huh. Gather sap and
Yeah.
uh-huh.
Which is Ralph.
Ralph's gonna do it. Great.
He was talking about back in the spring.
Good. What do you have for equipment up there now? Do you still have some tractors? And
Yeah.
Johnny's got a baler for haying and
Yeah. We just have, each of us has one tractor, each of us.
uh-huh. Do you ever fight over your tractors?
No.
You stay off of Johnny's and he stays off of yours?
If I have to move his, I move it.
Do you have to ask him permission to move it?
No.
No. Good, good. What else can we talk about? What are some of the people that are up there now? Grace and Brooke. Brooke raises has a big garden, very much like you used to at East
Yeah.
Hill.
Grace has huge garden,
Does she? Yeah.
twice as big as Brooks.
Oh, really?
But she's gonna,
She's showing her up.
yeah.
A little rivalry there between
I
the
think
girls.
she's gonna cut way back and just grow for herself next year.
Grace is?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's gotten too much with her working out.
And does Brooke have bees up there?
Yeah.
A lot of bees or
At least 2 hives.
2 hives? So not too many. Do you get some of the honey from the hives?
From Brooke, and we're thinking about getting through her boyfriend, who's the bee Brigham,
Dick Brigham.
a big bucket, and it's the same price that you get from him.
He doesn't give you any deals.
No,
No. How about you had a school reunion a couple
years ago. The first one was a couple of years ago with everybody, and then last year, people who didn't come before
Got to come.
got to come.
How many people came the first time?
Oh, probably 75 or
Really?
under 100 people,
Wow, that's great.
and then about 35 or so
The second time?
last summer.
Uh-huh.
It was 2 years difference.
Wow. Any idea how many people went to East Hill School over the history of the school?
I don't know how many.
Lots.
Lots.
Lots. It would be interesting to do a world map and see where all the East Hill students have ended
Yeah.
up.
Some of them killed themselves, and
Oh, we don't want to talk about that.
some of them moved on.
Moved on to other places,
Yeah.
and some of them.
At least three people killed themselves.
Oh dear.
2 of the same family. One lived in Maine, one lived up north.
Through no fault of East Hill, I'm sure.
No. And then one from Pennsylvania who killed himself for I don't know what reason.
Huh.
But that's.
Any particularly famous person that
And
went
then
to East Hill?
one person died from accident.
Uh-huh. Is there any particularly famous person that went to East Hill that you can think of?
I can't think of.
No presidents or
No.
congressmen?
No.
Bernie Sanders didn't go there, did
No.
he? Do we like Bernie?
Yes.
Yeah, we do. That's great. Well, Andy, it's been wonderful talking to you. Thank you for sharing this time. Sometime we'll take a tour up on East Hill and you can show us the beautiful, you've got a beautiful vista looking out over the mountains.
Yeah.
And pretty spot up there. Very, very happy that your parents started the school and the whole history that went along with it.
Yeah.
So thank you for being here today, and thank all of you for joining us for another episode of Out of the Hills, and we will see you soon. The cheese! You grab it, and I
Barandata tireba, warabarandi turirona, turi tuti turi biye, bam bum bam bam do di de da da, tiri